It is the best show in town. It is the best LGBTQI issue. So darling, why haven't you subscribed? Monday to Thursday, bringing you breaking news Wahala. On Friday, sex, education. And Saturday, burning questions. You know, all those questions you've been thinking of asking. Saturday is the day for you, darling. Ask your questions about religion, your questions about what you want to know about us, your question about anything. You can access anything on Saturdays doing burning questions. And you know one thing, you could to be the lucky winner to win our giveaways on Saturdays. And on Sundays, to crown it all, we have the market woman and shade girl. So darling, why do you want to miss out on all these interesting things? Help this channel by clicking the subscribe button.
We are in trouble. We are in serious trouble. And there is fire on the mountain. No fewer than 50 gay community members were killed in 2021 alone in Nigeria. Even there are cases that said that is even more than that. Some have blamed it on sickness, some have blamed it on ill health, some have blamed it on a mysterious ailment. But there's everything and anything linking to one dot, and all the dots linking to one is the rather that there is like a serial killer in the LGBTQI community, and people are scared for their lives. 2022 too, we are hearing cases of people who are allegedly missing or also falling sick, and even in their close to their deathbeds. So we are going to be using this issue to actually talk about this because it's a serious issue and it's a big problem. Is there a serial killer in the LGBTQI community member? Just like the doodler Jeffrey Dahmer of America, do we have one in our hands that is secretly taking out the LGBTQI community members one by one? My name is Marvelous Achafu Kelechi, and welcome to Kivu Talk Breaking News Wahala. And I'm always joined by Chimereze, Henry, and Unaya in our Toronto studios in Canada. Welcome, Chimereze. How are you too?
Good morning, Mr. Chaffo. I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So before we proceed into this video proper, we'll just play you a video to show you a serial killer that was caught, that was murdering the LGBTI community member sometime last year. Chimereze, I can't remember his name. What was his name again?
His name happens to be Italy Ekwensu. Well, on my investigation, his real name is Utali Neton. That is Netor. Neto.
Wow, thank you very much. So we'll play with that video just to refresh your memory on the fact that one of them was caught, rather, and there might be many more at large out there using different ways to eliminate LGBTI community members. So guys, please kindly watch this, and we'll come back and we'll talk more.
ngwa kọrọ nụ ndị na-ebe a otu unu siwe wee gagbuo onye ahụ gburu ọkwụnụ gburu onye a ozu anyị ga-afụ kịta ọkwụnụ gburu ya na-ekwusi n'ike ngwa kọrọ na ife mee n'otu unu siwe wee gbuo ya ọsọ
onye the boy bịa na send ele add na Facebook may accept obido kpabara m ya onye hụ na ọhụ nwoke ya na-eme na ọwụ na nkwe ka m na-eme hụ nchiri ọchị mbụ mecha nkweli ya si ya ngwa na anyị ebe ọmụ ka ọchọ na anyị eme ọmụ ọsụmoke na m ya abịa Imo steeti ya onye Benue steeti bụ na ya bi Owerri nsi mba na m ya ha abịa except na ya abịa side ọsụmko na ya abịa n'ụbọchị ya abịa kpọọ m send area na mba olu ụbọchị Thursday or Wednesday ọkpọ so na ya na-abịa na ya abịa na moto nsi ya na anọ mba ya na ọbịalụ ya banye ọkada ọkada buru egbalata so ka ọkada buru egbalata ọmụ na ya selo because ọ gbara ndị abịa na ya enye m 20,000 nsi aka eji ego ọsụ na anyị mechaa na ka ọ na-ezi ekwu ya ndị mkpọrọ ga-eche mgbe because ife plan ọbịa nnarị ya dị ego akpọta m ndị mmadụ etie yi ka ya hafụ ya ọma so ndị onye mkpọrọ mkpụrụ ya esote ihe bịa ma masị anyị ọgụ anyị n'ụba ọgụ onye ọ na-emerụcha ma ya nwa
onye gị kpọrọ onye anyị kpọrọ onye nke a Chidi
so omei So Melucha. So the boy Melucha. The boy will listen to the team no. Pajishi will phone your budget. So phone no jewelry. Budget. So che the sumo I yap for the boy. I had issue side because with the boy she made that and the boy when I no ya wouldn't know when a plan melody in chock I even na phone. Now come on I yap of you. I shadow Buffia. Go
to the point. So you carry him and kill him there.
No, so
I kill him there, but because he didn't give you 20,000.
One kono di wele buya.
Oh, okay, now.
One kono di buya.
So sign.
I'm no. So, but the boy come up. Other way I tell her. Call the boy. Bring down and I come say the boy.
Kede bon na wele buya.
Eba minute.
Eba was there.
Mba. Na minute. Kwe go si mo oga ya minute.
This is an American pop theater.
Yeah. So welcome back, guys. Now that you guys have seen that horrific and shocking video, now Chimwezi, there are various ways that LGBTQI community members have been talking about this. Whether we like it or not, we can take one thing for sure: there is a serial killer in the LGBTQI community members. But the issue is that people are saying that there are serial killers in different locations. Port Harcourt, Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Benin, Adamawa, different locations with different serial killers using different methods. Some are ritualists, some are just pure clitoris, some are murderers, some harvest human organs. Because I've heard that story too before. That they take community members and sell their human organs and human parts, harvest them. That's why we have missing cases of many LGBT community members. Some, the ones that do ritual, you do the ritual, and you probably even go and die in your homes. You just mysteriously fall sick. Chimwezi, what is happening? And do you actually believe this? Because some people have said that this is just a pure lie, this is just coincidence. Do you believe this?
This is not a coincidence. I did mention this situation in 2019 when Priye had passed on and suddenly died. Priye was a community member, very bold and prominent. He used to stay in Port Harcourt. I went to Uniport with him, and he used to stay at my lodge like 2 doors away. And we weren't that close, but I knew Priye personally. He was a friendly person. And then when I heard he suddenly died and he had an illness, I knew that boy was strong. But one thing that happened before Priye died, Priye was throwing his birthday party, and I was personally watching the live as he was dancing and he was celebrating with his friend. But all of a sudden the stream caught. And he never came back. And after 2 days after his birthday party and the stream just suddenly mysteriously cut, he died. So that got me thinking. And before he died, there was someone who wrote a very bold statement. He said in that, under that comment, that you will be the next to die. So that was one thing that got me thinking, and Priye died and passed on. And I mentioned it, I remember with Evander's Bride blog, I was like, there is a serial killer in town. I personally believe there is a serial killer in town. And I know Marvelous has talked about the ritual killing. We've talked about also Utali Ekwensu's killing. He used the sword.
Let's talk about Utali Ekwensu, aka the Devil's Weapon, aka the gay serial killer, whose murderous activity came to light in March of 2020 after he and his accomplice Chidi were arrested for killing a young man from Benue State. According to the story, the victim and Utali had met on Facebook, where Utali offered up himself for 20,000 naira. When they eventually met at Utali's place, Utali demanded the money up front, even though the agreement was pay after service. When the victim saw how aggressive Utali was becoming, he knew it was a setup. And as Utali opened the door for his accomplice Chidi to join in the ambush, the victim quickly reached for his SIM card and swallowed it. It was at this point Utali and Chidi pounced on him, but they were met with a surprising resistance. You see, unlike Utali's past victims, this Benue guy was not a punk. It was said he fought back. Both Utali and Chidi could not pin him down. It was when Utali saw that he could not beat this guy that he reached for his weapon, a sword knife, which he used to stab him to death. They were both caught on their way trying to dispose the body, but this was not the first time Utali killed someone. According to sources, Utali had previously gone to jail for killing another gay man, but was released after his lawyer argued self-defense. They said he would lure gay men by sharing naked pictures of himself, inviting them to his house, where he would victimize, rob, beat, and in some cases, kill them. Some sources also claim he might have slept with some of these men before attacking.
To inject and stab his victims to death. But there is a third serial killer who uses a third method that he didn't mention, which is poisoning. There have been so many community members who have been poisoned to death. And this should be a serious investigation done in Nigeria. Because first and foremost, yes, these are LGBTQ members, but these are murderers walking freely on the street of Lagos or in the street of Port Harcourt without no conviction of justice. I feel those who have died deserve justice. They deserve to smile from heaven that we that are alive, we that are able to speak, we that can breathe and talk, can begin to speak out. We cannot all live in fear. We cannot all live in silence because they will begin to pick us one by one. Remember the case now somebody wrote to me, he said, I will kill you. I will shoot you in the head. We've received a lot of death threat. So yes, there is a serial killer walking about and they are very bold with their words and actions. Over to you, Mr. Chafo.
So for me, it's cause for concern. That's why during the intro, I had to let people know that we are in serious trouble. Very, very serious one. And this is too big of a subject for us to talk about in one episode. So we'll look for a way to break it down and we'll look for a way to just touch on things and keep on once in a while touch on it again and still hamper on it and still touch on subjects like this because whether we like it or not, we're in big trouble. And because as members of the LGBT community, it is hard for investigations and persecutions to be carried out. Because even in countries where they were where we would say crimes, it was an issue. We saw Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer would have been caught a long time ago, but because it was LGBTI community members, nobody cared. Even the Asian guy that ran away from the house and escaped, the police even handed him back to Jeffrey Dahmer and called it a lover's affair.
Jeffrey Dahmer murdered 17 young men over 13 years. He would cut open his victims for his own sexual pleasure, preserve their severed body parts, and towards the end eat their thighs, biceps, and hearts. But how did this once apparently innocent child turn into one of the world's most gruesome serial killers? Did circumstance drive Dahmer to carnage and cannibalism, or was he born to kill?
Despite the fact that he was trying to, because for one reason or the other, it's just this stigma with LGBTI community members that people don't want to interfere with any of our matter. Even when it was domestic violence, because people questioned that police officer and said, if it was a lady that ran out, in the case of domestic violence, that the person was obviously battered, was obviously battered, would you take her back to the husband? Obviously, you will not. You will take the person to the cell, or you are going to charge the man for domestic violence. But they didn't. So it's been in other countries to happen. That's why you see most of the LGBTQ serial killers abroad basically did not get caught. Jeffrey Dahmer had to go for 20. Jeffrey Dahmer was long overdue, killing 20-something victims before you get caught. That's almost as if it's almost as if he was even aiming to be caught. Because he even said during his interview that if he was not caught, he would not have stopped. And they were saying 25. He said he has lost count. Because people were saying that it was up to about 40-something. But people, the official figure they were trying to round up was 25. So imagine if he had not been caught, he said he would not have stopped. So the serial killer to Nigeria, if we did not put an end to it, he obviously would not stop. Look at the case of the Dodler. The Dodler now is recently trending now. 3 days ago, even to today, it's trending because they've even increased the ransom for anyone that can provide information about the Dodler. In the US, basically, since 1970 till now, 2022, the Dodler is still killing the LGBTI community. 1970 till now. So that shows that we are a serious people. When I look at figures like this, even in abroad, where they say, when you watch these these Hollywood movies, they will make it project you as if they bust crime, as if you are busting, the way you just on your phone touchlight, as if you are just busting through the door, you just open the door and step in. The way they would look as if they are best investigations, but they are not. Especially when it comes to LGBTQI crimes. So it's left for us as
They
community members.
are, but yeah, like you said, they are best in the investigation, but just not for us.
Yeah, for an LGBTQI, obviously that's you. It took them almost 30 something years for them to actually be increasing the what's the word, the ransom for the dollar from $100,000 to
But
$200,000.
just to add, I feel our community also helps these serial killers. Like, we know things are happening, we know people are missing, but most times community members don't come out to talk. We even know cases that we are even talking about, small cases like, local cases like JP Crime Fighter and Kitos. People don't want to open their mouth to talk about how they've been killed, where it happened, the locations, even the profile. Some people say, how can you delete? Somebody said they will kill you, you deleted it. Are you okay? You want to issue? Do you have a brain? Serious matters. But rather, you will still hop to the same person. Somebody says, I got keto though, but you are still in Enugu, you look at it, scroll at it, and you still swipe left to go and meet. I feel we should have senses. I feel we should begin to talk literal important things. I don't know what the NGOs are doing. I don't know the nonsense conferences we are having. I don't know the stupid awards they are giving to activists. But I feel that this is a high time we need to sit our asses down and talk about what really matters. We need to hold conferences that really matters about LGBT securities and life. We need BBC and CNN to step into these matters because we don't have the financial capacity. We need the authorities to help persuade the Nigerian government to also look into these matters. There was a video of a white lady that was killed in the broad daylight, and she was killed in such a mess. And nobody will wonder, nobody will talk about it. We need serious conversation. We need conversations with governors. We need conversations with president. We need conversations with police commissioners. We don't need all these activists. We need to have serious conversation. Over to you, Mr. Chafu.
Well, I will not be surprised. About 8 guys that were saying that we were said to be sentenced to death in Kano State for homosexuality. To today, did we know their names? To today, did we know their whereabouts? Has any NGO intervened? Has anything been said about it? Do we even know anything about the story? When serial killers see stories like this, they'll feel empowered. They'll feel like, oh, this community, nobody cares about this. So we can even run this, we can just be taking them out like lab rats and nothing, nobody cares. When they watch keto videos, obviously, now this community, nothing for ketos to be so emboldened, recording videos, and no justice is served to them. So they will feel like, who will stop them? And it's a big issue. Different ways that it's already taking out, shortening out the life of community members, different ways. But as usual, we'll continue to talk about it. We will not be intimidated, we will not be blackmailed. We know a lot of our community members are even, they are the ones perpetrating this harm. To stick on this story, we are going to gradually along the line, we'll be running on it, touching on it gradually, just to make sure that our community members, our community must become safe for every community member. Everybody needs to be safe. Everybody needs to know that their life is not endangered. We need to know that the security and safeness must come. This is very, very sad. It's so sad. It's just terrible. Just terrible. And we know we were supposed to even do this story in 2021, but for some issue we could not do it. 2022 again, we are starting off. It's a sense of now it's even worse. Now it's even worse. Because they are saying that, oh, now they are even using this so-called ritualists, all these people pretending to be Yahoo boys, using it to wipe out community members. Just a very terrible situation. Poisoning now has skyrocketed. I remember a particular party I went to. It was ending of last year now, around December 28th. They refused to serve food because of this same poisoning issue. They said they will not serve food in that event. I said, why? They said no, they will not serve food. Even the drinks, when we were coming, they said, bring your drinks. They told us, bring your drinks when we were coming to the party. That we will not serve food and bring your drinks when you are coming. Because it's scared of poison. Everybody now is scared of the poisoning this thing. It's just a mess in this community, just a mess. But like
Just
we are
one
saying, okay,
Just
yeah.
one last thing. Yeah, it's a mess. If the story of Utali Ekwensu is still ignite, it got to the media, but they have not really been a proper investigation about Utali Ekwensu. If you had an experience with or escaped from Utali Ekwensu, please write to us. If you know
Or any
any
serial killer.
or any
I think
serial
people should
killer,
write to us. People should write to us
please.
what you think is happening. Because
Yes,
to be honest, you might be surprised that maybe we might just be scratching the surface. Because this might even be deeper than we think. we might be surprised that we are just scratching this. All we are saying is just scratching. Maybe it's actually deeper than what we think. Maybe some people are just out there that they have become an institution. Just trying, I do not, because I heard that story too of people harvesting community members' organ. I refuse to believe it. But now it's seeming like it's true that there are actually people who are targeting community members, especially the ones that are running after money. You know, some community members, especially the community, is like a big issue where people don't want to work, just basically chasing money, looking for the rich guys, the rich boys. They want to roll with the big boys. So that is the quote now. And they are just harvesting their organs, using them for ritual, taking short their life, wasting them. It's a big issue. So, 2 minutes, just carry on, just talk finally.
Please,
So
I just want to say, write to us. We need your help. We need your help. We need to stand together as one. We need to hear every side of the story. Please don't think your own story is less, or don't think your own story is not important. You may even have the key evidence to finding these persons or these institutions that are doing this. And for the love of God, for our brothers who have gone down, they will be smiling in heaven if we are able to bring their perpetrators to book. Over to you, Mr. Chaffee.
thank you very much, Imez. I think you have said it all. We will not be blackmailed. We will not be intimidated. We will not. Obviously, everybody has fear. Like what they say danger is real, but fear is a choice. We will not be ruled by fear. Continue to speak out for the community and get to the root of this, so that our community becomes safe again. Because that's what the true essence of journalism is: unraveling the truth, speaking out for the community, and leaving no stones unturned. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Till next episode. See you guys later. Peace out.